I've also applied for several scholarships. I've also applied for people who got scholarships. And I know that the first battle that a lot of us need to win is the battle with ourselves, thinking about whether we feel that we are qualified actually to be able to apply for this stuff. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lady Lawyer channel. I love seeing that. Thank you very much for joining me here. I am very happy to have you once again. My name is Victoria, as you may know now, but if you don't know, well, that's my name. I'm a doctoral researcher in international criminal law from Nigeria. I'm in Germany now, so welcome, welcome, welcome. And I like to make content around being an academic, around legal issues, around being an expert in Germany. So sit tight, welcome, and hope that we'll have more of you around on this channel. Today, we'll be talking about something that I consider very important to people who would like to study in Germany. I like making a lot of content around studying in Germany, and we're going to be tackling scholarships today. Scholarships, it's a multifaceted topic. And so we will deal with it from very many angles and give it the attention that it deserves. So today we're starting from the basics. Who should apply for scholarships? When should you apply, for example? And from which organizations should you apply for scholarships? So as a general rule of thumb, I always say that if you have studied in Nigeria. Nigeria is where I get most of my reference points because that's where I got my first degree. But let's just say generally in an African country and you're looking to come to Germany to study, the first thing you need to do or to know, or what I think would qualify you, is first of all, what class of degree did you get in your first degree? So I am talking right now about postgraduate scholarships, as you may already guess. Now, in Nigeria, we have many classes of degrees, and depending on nomenclature in your own jurisdiction, I think as a general rule of thumb, if you have anything from second class upper, you should be able to put your application together properly to be able to get a scholarship. Also, I have seen people, interestingly, who got second class lower, who were able to successfully apply for a scholarship. But also, this is dependent then on how you package your application, which to me is the next point. So how do you package your application process? How do you, or not your process, but your documents, how do you put your stuff together? What sort of thing do you write, for example, in your motivation letter? I think that your class of degree first is important, but it doesn't stop there. So for example, if maybe you went to university and you finished at the age of 22 or 23 and you didn't do particularly well, but since then you've had work experience in this specialized field, you could still apply for a scholarship, and instead of selling your first degree experience or your class of degree, you sell rather your work experience. So for example, you want to go into a biomedical field or biochemistry or something like this, and you have worked in the field in your country. Maybe your first degree was not particularly great, but you have this experience working in labs and you have worked on this fabulous research. You can successfully sell that to research institutes in Germany and you can get a full scholarship. So the first thing I like to say is that scholarships are possible for people with varying classes of degree. It's just about how you put your documents together. It's about how you present yourself. It's about how you put things together. For me, I have had the opportunity of getting scholarships twice. The first time, well, now I'm talking about postgraduate scholarship. I got a full scholarship for my master's. I got a full scholarship for my PhD. So I kind of have a little bit of experience with putting stuff together. I've also applied for several scholarships. I've also applied for people who got scholarships, and I know that the first battle that a lot of us need to win is the battle with ourselves, thinking about whether we feel that we are qualified actually to be able to apply for this stuff. A lot of students who want to come to Germany, the first thing they think about is, okay, how am I going to fund the studies? And then they start hustling for sponsors, they start hustling for blocked accounts and all of these things. And most of them don't even think in the first place, okay, perhaps I can get a scholarship. So this is important. I am here to tell you that it is possible, even if you didn't do so well in your first degree, but you have been able to move successfully since then, you can easily make a case for yourself. So the next question then you would ask is, what is the scholarship landscape like in Germany? I know a lot of us are probably versed with the scholarship landscape in the United Kingdom. Maybe you know a little bit about what it's like in America, and maybe a few other European countries. In Germany, the landscape is also not very different, but as with all things German, you can expect that the process will be very detailed, the process will be highly standardized, and the process would involve a lot of paperwork. So the scholarship landscape in the first instance in Germany involves a lot of patience. That I will have to tell you. Also, of course, for people who are applying to study in Germany, I think this is already common knowledge that there's usually a lot of paperwork involved, and it also involves you having a lot of patience. So generally, we can break the landscape into three major categories. You have the scholarship that are from government institutions or government-related institutions. I will explain what I mean. You also then have scholarships from political parties or organizations or institutions that are affiliated to political parties. That's the second category. The third category of institution granting organizations are organizations that are private or from just general private organizations. Perhaps they are non-governmental organizations or private foundations. So there are so many of those as well that provide scholarships to people. Before I go into details about each type of organization or institutions that grant scholarships, we also need to understand that there are no general requirements that all scholarship granting organizations give full rights. So I have been very fortunate to have full right twice to get full scholarship, room and board, and you have a lot of that, that will cover all your costs. But there are many scholarship granting organizations, granting agencies that do not give that kind of full right. So there are many types of scholarship, as you can say, that they give. So there are some that give short-term grants for people, for example, researchers to come from the global south. I hate that term. Or come from countries across the world to carry out research in Germany, or these are short-term grants. So maybe 6 months or 8 months or 1 year for the most part. And you have very famous ones. I will mention some names, I may not. You also have some that provide short-term, like I said, research grants. Some of these grants wouldn't be just for like very super specific things. It may not cover all of the research. It may just cover accommodation. So you could get a research grant and then maybe you are able to get accommodation or whatever from another organization. You could also get then full ride grants like I got for your master's or your PhD. There are those that provide that as well. And there are some that give you 1 year grants and then they expect you to come and renew it every time. So there's that as well. So it's not every master's or PhD scholarship that gives you 2 years, 3 years or 4 year PhD scholarship. They may just give you 1 year. And it has happened to many of my friends that they give them a year scholarship and then the second year they don't get it again. So they have to now start the process of trying to get the scholarship again or from another organization. So since that is out of the way now, we'll talk a little bit about the government granting agency. I think the most famous of them is the DAAD, which is the German Academic Exchange Institute. So the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service. The German Academic Exchange Service is one of the biggest that grants the most students coming from abroad, and they usually have offices practically everywhere. I know they have in Nigeria, they have in Ibadan, they have in Abuja, they have in Lagos. I know they have in many West African countries. I've been to their office in South Africa, in Cape Town. I know they have almost all over the African continent, and I see their output, and I know they also have in almost every country you can think of in Southeast Asia, in Latin America. And basically, you can look on the website. I'm going to put it in the description box. and find all sorts of scholarship offers in whatever field you can imagine, and of whatever type. So short term, long term, masters, PhD, in whatever. They usually would have it. But the thing with DAD application process is that it's very, very paper intensive. It takes a lot of documentation and also some time. So you need to be very patient. But for the people who have benefited from it, I have friends who have gotten it. It's usually a very enjoyable process, and they also have a good network. So you're not only benefiting from the money to study, you're also getting into a pool of people who have studied and gotten the scholarship that can help you when you get to Germany. You have already a network. And apart from this network, when you finish, you are also in this alumni association of people in your country who can help each other. So the DAD is very famous. It's, I think, the biggest, if I am not mistaken. And you can find all manner of offers on their website. The thing is, you need to be patient. As with all applications for scholarship, you have to be patient and you have to be ready for the work. So we also have the Deutschland Stipendium National Scholarship Program, which also is sort of like the DAD, but it's much smaller. And it's important to look on their website because they are not as well known as the DAD, where all the students are looking, for scholarship. So I would also put their link in the description box, and you can also look on the website and see if you can find something that's suitable for you. The second categorization, which I mentioned the other time, are those that are affiliated to political parties. And listen, almost all German political parties have some sort of scholarship program. This is important to them because they not only want to push the political policies and the principles of their party, they also want to further research in the field. So, for example, you have the Green Party, and they support students who are doing research in anything that's related to what they're doing. You have different political parties with different ideologies who support students who are conducting research, or either at the master's or doctoral level, on anything that is related to their field. So you can basically apply and say, this is what my research is about, this is what I like to look into, and I think this fits into your ideology, blah, blah, blah. Bam, you have a scholarship. So it's also worth looking into. You have so many of them. You have the Heinrich Böll Stiftung, you have Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, you have all this Party Friedrich Ebert, and they all have very generous, if I must say, scholarship, both for masters, both for PhD, and they are very crucial for students. When you're outside of Germany, many times you don't really know the nuances around some of these political parties and their offers. So it's important that you also look at them. If you're conducting, for example, if you're doing environmental research, definitely you should look at the Green Party. So these are grants agencies that are affiliated to political parties that you should look at. The third categorization is are those that belong to private individuals or foundations that belong to people who are long gone, who gave their wealth, for example, for this purpose. And a lot of them cater only to Germans or to Europeans, but some of them are also open to people who are from outside the EU or the EEA region. So I'm going to also put some lists in the description box, and we can start from there for many grant agencies that give scholarships to students from outside the European Union. This will be crucial for you, not only to find those that can support your study, but it will be helpful for you also to have a network when you get to Germany. I think that scholarships are very essential. I think they are crucial, especially for those of us who do not come from backgrounds where we can easily fund our studies by ourselves. And if not for scholarships, for example, I probably would not be able to fund my research, my master's, my PhD. And I've benefited a lot from the generous support of the German government on 2 occasions now. So I think it's important that we are properly guided as to what to do when we want to apply, which places to actually look at, and then how to make sure that our application process is successful. So in the subsequent video, I would then go on to talk about what exactly you need to put together, what documents, what actual things you need to put together. In another video, we're going to talk about, for example, how to write a convincing motivation letter, how to write a proper German style CV, how to put your documents together, what do you need to submit, and how much time does it take, for instance, to apply for scholarship in Germany and get it. So these are the things that we will continue to discuss. And if you have ever gotten scholarships either in Germany or in another country, can we talk about what the process was for you? And also, if you know other kind of grant agencies in Germany that give scholarship to international students, can we also talk about it? I look forward to your comments in the comment section. And I hope that you come back, because this is going to be a very extensive discussion around scholarships. I hope that by the time we are done with this session, we would actually have true success stories of people who would go off of this information to actually apply and get their scholarships from different agencies. So thank you very much for watching this video. And if you have not subscribed, we have very fun things, very helpful things coming up. So please do so, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.